There is no aspect of human life you couldn't be doing better. How does that statement make you feel? Pretty bad, right? Actually, that's just another way to say one of the most overused buzzwords in self-improvement right now, optimization. In today's video, I want to step back and look at optimization as a whole and see when it might make sense in our lives. I also want to share a few tools for determining when optimization might make sense and some alternatives when it doesn't. According to Webster's dictionary, optimization is an act, process, or methodology of making something, such as the design, system, or decision, as fully perfect, functional, or effective as possible. Optimize stems from Latin, the optimus, meaning best. On the surface, this actually sounds pretty great. In fact, it almost sounds like the ultimate manifestation of self-improvement. That our entire life is, quote, as fully perfect, functional, or effective as possible. Plus, it stems from the word best, and aren't we all just trying to live our best lives? And if that's the case, doesn't it make sense to optimize our lives? On the surface, yes, great. But let's think about this for a minute. Now, each of us has, depending on who you ask, somewhere between like 10 and 15 different areas within our lives. You could continue to split this up further or condense a few of these, but regardless of a few more or few less, to me at least, I know I would feel incredibly overwhelmed trying to optimize every single one of these areas of my life. My argument in this video is that true optimization is not needed in most cases. It is, however, beneficial to improve each area of your life to a certain point. Now that makes sense to me. That's what this channel is all about, living a better life. Not living a perfect life, because I don't believe the perfect life exists. If we truly tried to optimize every area of our life, we would spend so much time optimizing or following our routines and rituals for optimization that we would have very little life left for living. And even if we did manage to optimize every area of our lives, we all know that life doesn't work like that. It's never as simple as we dream. There will always be new issues that arise, better ways to do things, or a newer, better version. So who is optimization for, and what exactly is it for? Well, looking at the definition, we see that we have, quote, something such as a design, a system, or a decision, and making it as fully perfect, functional, or effective as possible. Now, think about that for a second. If we're talking about design, for example, I might argue that a well-optimized design is this computer mouse. That's the MX Master 3S. There have been generations of this design, each one improving on the features of the last. It's some combination of the features, form factor, and marketing that has made this the most popular productivity mouse in the world. Eventually though, there will likely be a more optimized version. What about a well-optimized system? Well, I would say, for example, YouTube's algorithm is an incredibly well-optimized system. It is constantly being tweaked and adjusted with the goal of keeping you and I, the viewers, on the platform for the longest amount of time. It prioritizes content people click and spend time on, and deprioritizes content people don't click or click away from quickly. This is an incredibly well-optimized system that is being continuously improved to better suit the business's purpose. What about a well-optimized decision? That's a little more tricky, but in general, I would say a well-optimized decision would be one that is a win-win for the stakeholders involved. Now, decision optimization is actually a legitimate business model. It's literally a system that applies mathematical algorithms to input data and business rules to generate the best statistical decision for the business, which is actually kind of cool. I did not know that existed until I was doing research for this video. What do all of these have in common? Well, they're all some sort of business output or business operation. They're not personal. Now, when I think of personal performance, the Olympics starts this week, and so of course I think of Olympic athletes. To me, they're the epitome of optimization, putting in tireless, countless hours trying to eke out every little piece of performance possible. When you think about it, that's a personal thing, but also it's definitely a business thing, right? There is money and social capital involved. Now we come to you and I. Individuals just trying to improve our personal lives. What areas of our lives should we optimize? My question to that would be, what are we optimizing for? A business at some point in the process is optimizing for profitability. Are we optimizing for happiness? Are we optimizing for maximum work output? Are we optimizing for financial freedom? Are we optimizing to become a human productivity robot? This is where optimization and goals collide. So let's go back to our list from earlier of these 12 different areas of your life. You can add and subtract to your liking, but this list is where I start when I'm making my goals for the year. I'll look at this list and rate my current life on a scale of 1 to 10 based on this list, 10 being fully optimized or the best, and 1 being it could not be worse, it's terrible. I'll go through the list and rank those, and then I will look forward to, at the end of this time period, be it a year, 6 months, whatever it is, I'll then look at where do I intend to be in each of these areas. Now, it's important to be realistic with this. It would be totally ridiculous to make each of those areas, I intend to be a 10 in all of these areas. I don't think that's possible. For this example, I'll create a friend. Let's call him Joe. Joe sits down to do this exercise and he lists out where he's at currently in all of these 12 areas. Then Joe lists where he intends to be at the end of the time period. Now he also concretely defines what that number means. This is a really important piece in the process. So Joe says, I'm at a 5 right now in joy. I want to be at an 8 in joy. To me, an 8 in joy means feeling peace and calm every day when I get home from work. Great, so Joe now has a great idea of where he needs to focus his time and attention this year. Then he can build and define his goals based on this result. You are welcome to define any of these categories however you'd like. There are 3 of these categories I want to touch on personally. 1 is time. This is an area that I've added to the list in the last several years. Now, every piece on this list takes time, and that's not what I'm measuring here. What I'm looking at is, do I like how I'm spending my time? And do I like the pace of my current life? If not, then something needs to change. Number 2 is possessions. Now, I believe we will never be fully satisfied with the things we have, and this is not what I'm really looking at here. Instead, I'm looking at how much are possessions or material things ruling me, and how content am I with what I currently have. One of my favorite quotes from author Joshua Fields Millburn is, love people, use things, because the opposite never works. That is exactly what I'm looking at here. Number 3 is joy. Now, some people would put happiness here. I personally believe that happiness is more of a feeling that comes and goes, so I prefer to focus on joy. My favorite definition of joy is an inner sense of well-being that cannot be shaken. To me, that seems like a goal worth pursuing. So once you've gone through this list of where you are currently and where you intend to be, if one of those areas you intend to be is a 10, well, that is an area you need to optimize for, right? That's an area you're looking and you're saying, that is, I want to be the best in that area. I want this to be the best it possibly can be. Are you sure? First of all. And second of all, if you are, well, that's great. Then go for it. Now know that if you optimize for one thing, there's a pretty good chance that you will have to de-optimize in other areas to some extent. So for example, if Joe put a 10 for body, maybe he wanted to compete in a bodybuilding show or something. Well, there's a pretty good chance he'd need to sacrifice quite a few other areas of his life in order to optimize for body. So he might have to make sacrifices in the area of family, friends, time, money, maybe romance. Again, optimization takes a ton of time. Think about that Olympic athlete, right? Their entire life revolves around training to become the best athlete they can. No, if there's something that you want to optimize for, I do think that is a worthy goal to pursue. But no, you can't optimize everything, and also it will require some sacrifice in other areas. But what about the rest of us? What about those of us who want to have just kind of a balanced overall good life, like a bunch of 7s and 8s. One of my overall favorite ideas is the Pareto principle. This idea states that 80% of outcomes come from 20% of causes, and this can be applied broadly across many different areas of your life. The theory here related to optimization is that in order to optimize something, you must go for that last 20%. Those last 20% of gains would take exponentially more effort and time than the first 80%. But if you're looking at the rest of the areas in your life, maybe you're okay with an 8 out of 10 in an area. That's actually really good. Well, according to this principle, you can get there with 20% of the inputs. To me, this is the sweet spot when it comes to self-improvement, letting go of 80% of those inputs and focusing on the most important 20% of inputs. This, to me, seems like it has less demands on my time, my wallet, and on my mental health. It's not an easy approach, but it's a simple approach to self-improvement. It has also personally helped me wade through the shoulds that we're constantly bombarded with. Oh, you should be doing this, should be doing this. An easy thing to ask is, well, is this a 20% thing or is this an 80% thing? And if it's an 80% thing, just let go of it. It's really helped me just focus on what is important to me or what works well for me. So how would one go about applying the 80-20 rule? Well, if there's an area of your life you want to improve in and you don't need to optimize it, but you just want to make it better, it would start with some basic research, of course, and then just some trial and error. You won't get this right the first time, and that's just part of the process of self-improvement. I think it's fun. Now, some people will say, okay, yeah, but you're just coasting by with a bunch of 7s and 8s. That's not really what I'm saying. I personally have some areas of my life, I have 2 areas of my life right now that are 9s to me. That those are what I'm intending for, I'm going for them. I'm putting significantly more effort into those areas than I am into a lot of other areas of my life. And so chasing hard things is really good. There have been times in my life where things have been 10. Like work at times has been a 10 out of 10 for me. I wanted to optimize for maximum output and maximum productivity. And that's just not the case right now, right? This will change back and forth over time as you continue to grow as a person. So am I saying you should quit watching those how to optimize for maximum gains in the gym or how to optimize for the perfect night of sleep videos or podcasts or things? Well, no, I'm not saying you need to stop watching those. I think those are actually great research, but then just take what's important to you, take those 20% of things that feel important to you and apply those to your life. And there's no need to focus on the minutia in most cases, unless you are truly trying to optimize that one thing. So overall, in summary, here's what I'm saying. What if instead of trying to make everything in your life perfect, you put 20% of your effort into 80% of your life and put the remainder of your effort into a few specific things that strongly align with the life that you want to live?